Hi everybody, I'm Cheryl Kahn, and this is your West Palm Beach. As efforts continue to free the hostages who are still being held in Gaza, the great aunt of one former hostage with ties to South Florida is speaking out. Liz Naftali wrote a book about her family's painful experience and how they were able to help little Abigail finally come home. Hamas terrorists attacked the Nova Music Festival and surrounding Israeli communities on October 7, 2023, murdering more than 1,200 people and abducting more than 250. For Liz Hirsch Naftali, the nightmare was personal. Among the victims, her niece and nephew, killed in front of their children, two of whom survived by hiding in a closet all day and into the night. Their little sister, 3-year-old Abigail, who'd been shielded by her parents' bodies, was taken hostage.
And she was in her father's arms when he was shot and killed, and he fell on her. And her brother and sister, a 6- and a 9-year-old, thought that she had been killed, and they locked themselves in a closet for 14 hours.
Naftali has written a book called Saving Abigail about the family's successful efforts to free the little girl after 51 harrowing days in captivity. Abigail was among the nearly 20 residents of kibbutz Kfar Aza to be abducted that day. More than 60 others in that kibbutz alone, including her parents, were massacred. Bringing Abigail home, alive and healthy, became Naftali's obsession.
We thought she had been killed, but when I learned that she had survived, I looked at this picture and I said, I'm going to bring you home. I didn't know how. And I took this photo and I printed hundreds of copies. And then when I did press or when I did meetings up on Capitol Hill, I gave this photo to everyone I met.
Abigail was finally released along with 16 others, including the neighbor who took care of her and other kids who were held hostage.
She was with the woman, Hagar, and her 3 kids. After seeing her parents murdered, after being taken as a hostage, she had this woman who loved her, hugged her, talked to her, and treated her as she was one of her own children.
Over a year later, Abigail, now 5 years old, is doing well, living with cousins and her older brother and sister. But as far as Naftali is concerned, the fight won't be over until every remaining hostage is free. Liz says she's hopeful that the rest of the hostages will be home soon, and she's working alongside other hostage families to make it happen. With terrorist attacks occurring all over, including our country, West Palm Beach police are tightening security around public events, starting with our weekly Green Market. If you venture out to the Green Market on the West Palm Beach waterfront, you'll notice some changes leading up to and around the blocks-long site. They're all aimed at tightening security at the Green Market and the adjacent antique and flea market. Interim Police Chief Tony Araujo announced the adjustments at a recent news conference.
To provide a safe environment for our visitors and residents so they are safe and they feel safe.
First off, between 5 a.m. and 4 p.m., there will be street closures surrounding the sites. Those include North and South Flagler Drive, South Dixie Highway, North and South Olive Avenue, and North and South Narcissus Avenue between Banyan Boulevard and Datura Street. There will also be vehicles blocking those streets so no one can drive through. And while the move comes after the deadly New Year's attack in New Orleans, Chief Araujo says plans to tighten security have been in the works for some time.
Recent events in New Orleans indicate what we already know. You can be well postured, you can be secure, and things happen. Right? So what can you prevent? What can you displace?
And there's a change in the Green Market schedule. Hours have been expanded, with Green Market now taking place Saturdays from 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. through April 26th. For more information, visit WPB.org. Mary Pinak, who helped create Green Market and many other events in our city, recently retired after 35 years on the job. Here's a look back at her career. Longtime community events manager Mary Pinak celebrated her retirement during a party in the Waterfront Pavilion and the very last Clematis by Night she'd oversee on the job, this one featuring the Valerie Tyson Band.
Retirement! This night is dedicated to Miss Mary.
Events like this were front and center during Mary's 35 years on staff. When she started working here in 1989, West Palm Beach was a very different city with only a few public events occurring every year.
The only things that lived down here at that time were the pigeons, and there were a lot of them.
In her first months on the job, Mary helped pick up the pace. She was among the few organizing the very first green market in only 6 weeks at the request of then-Mayor Nancy Graham. Of course, now the award-winning green market has over 100 vendors, with many more applying for a spot each year. What had been a simple Christmas tree displayed in December morphed into the now famous holiday Sandy tree.
You know, Sandy, she's like Cher, Beyonce. She doesn't have a last name. She doesn't need a last name.
Sandy's grown to 700 tons, and her backstory keeps growing too, with Mary and her team adding a cast of supporting characters that range from dogs to mermaids and pirates to Sandy's cousin Ferris, the Ferris wheel. Over the years, Mary's overseen the evolution of 4th on Flagler, the city's popular Independence Day celebration, complete with live entertainment and a spectacular fireworks show. There have been projects that showcase the arts, movies during Screen on the Green, and appearances by spring training hometown heroes and World Series champions Houston Astros and Washington Nationals.
The 2022 World Series champions. Let's give it up for them one more time.
As I grew up here, my mother was born here. They both went to St. Anne's. It means something to me.
So here's to a happy retirement filled with family, friends, creativity, and fun.
Enjoy yourself, sit down and get, put the suntan on and chill, relax, just do what you want to do.
We hope Mary's taking that advice and having a great time already. Now, you know about snowbirds who venture south for the winter, and maybe you are one, but did you know that manatees do the very same thing? And we're lucky enough to be able to greet them when they get here. On this chilly morning at Manatee Lagoon, dozens of manatees could be seen swimming around, diving underwater, and then popping up every now and then to get a breath of fresh air. Tell me where it is. It's right there? Manatees are vegetarian mammals who can stay underwater for about 20 minutes if they're just chilling out. But if they're active, swimming around like this bunch, they need to come up for air every 2 minutes or so.
I can see!
Fascinating to watch, the gentle giants seek out spots like this outside Florida Power & Light's Riviera Beach plant because the plant's water discharges are warm. The manatees know to show up here, and so do the humans who love them.
This is one of our spots we make sure we come to every year, and we know to come early when we come down and when it's cold.
Every time the temperature drops below 60 degrees, this place is packed with people and manatees. And while we don't know what the manatees think of us, it's pretty clear what we like about them.
They're overwhelming. They're big blobs of joy.
But even though they are welcome here, manatees are definitely swimming in hazardous waters. Boaters are supposed to slow down around Manatee Lagoon, and West Palm Beach police even patrol the Intracoastal enforcing that rule.
Idle zone, Captain!
Idle zone.
Idle!
Still, many manatees are injured and even killed every year by careless boaters. Some even carry scars from previous encounters. So, while we stop to enjoy the annual visits from these magnificent creatures, it's important to remember and remind others to slow down while out on a boat. Because we're not the only ones out there, and there's plenty of ocean for all of us. If you'd like to know more about manatees and how to see them up close, go to visitmanateelagoon.com. The Palm Beach Opera is hoping to inspire a whole new generation of opera fans starting at a very early age. They're doing that by taking their talents to Mandel Public Library. What these opera singers can do with their voices is otherworldly. And in a small venue like the Mandel Public Library's auditorium, the effect is breathtaking. Most of these kids have never heard anything like it, and that's the whole point of why they're here.
I would just love for them to leave with a sense of what opera really is, and maybe a little bit of an excitement around classical music as an art form.
Soprano Maggie Kinnebrew says she wants to correct misconceptions about opera, since many people think it's about
big woman with horns and a very like ooh, 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 ooh kind of voice.
Dressed in jeans and t-shirts, with children and their parents lounging comfortably, this was the perfect place for the singers to make that point. These young opera singers and pianist who plans to be a conductor are busy building their careers. But through the Palm Beach Opera's outreach program, they're taking the time to give the public a chance to witness their amazing talent and hopefully turn kids like these into fans for life. What did you think when you heard them singing? And if you ever have a chance to see the Palm Beach Opera in person, you'll be a fan too. For more information on performances and special programs, visit pbopera.org. It's just one more way to enjoy all there is to see in your West Palm Beach. We'll see you next time.